Lisa Campos here at American Media Day. Lisa, did you get a chance to listen to Tim this morning, and what did you think about some of the stuff he said?
Yeah, absolutely. From day one, we can tell that Tim is going to be a visionary. He's the right person at the right time leading the American conference, and we're just really excited about his vision and where he's taking us.
He's got some pretty lofty goals in terms of revenue generation. I think that's something for sure that interests a lot of people when it comes to sharing revenues with student athletes. What did you think about what he said about that?
Yeah, Tim, from day one, he's been talking about these things, and I've been telling our head coaches, we got to continue to find ways to support Tim in his initiatives, because he truly means it. And some of these things are going to happen quicker than others, but again, it's from day one, the first meetings that we had with him, this is where his thinking was.
How did the rollout of RevShare go this summer?
It was great. If you ask Coach Strela, a lot of work, a lot of credit to my staff. We've been working on this for 8-10 months, but there is so much behind the scenes that has to happen from a processing standpoint, and so our goal was July 1, get these guys paid, and at the end of the day, it happened.
Are we still seeing contributions? Obviously we still are, but how much are the outsiders, the groups still contributing to what you guys are paying the student athletes?
Yeah, are you talking the collectives?
Yeah, the collectives.
So a huge thank you to Wayne and his executive board with Runners Rising. They did an incredible job for us the last couple years. They've closed up shop knowing that all this can now go through the university. Mm-hmm. Bob Wells and Peggy are going to continue to do the event-based collective fundraising for us, and that's really exciting for football, men's and women's basketball, soccer, softball. They're doing some events for them. I think they're going to add baseball with that recent success. And then, of course, our other, with April and Martin and Pat Klein's, that's going to continue to operate at least for the near future. So really appreciative of all the work that they're doing.
The Playmax edition that came on recently, how's that going? And obviously that's a part of what we're doing this summer.
Yep, absolutely. So Jordan is our general manager for Play Max, and the idea of that is that he's going out to small, medium, large businesses and establishing partnerships for our individual students. So we have Robert, who sells our multimedia rights as an athletics department. But Jordan is going out there selling individual student-athlete NIL, and he is out there. If you meet him, he was born to be a seller. That's all his background is. He's making incredible relationships right now with businesses and doing an incredible job.
I wanted to ask you about some of the people behind the scenes. Your whole staff is kind of involved in this, right? How much of a group effort has it been to get to this point?
Yeah, for the NIL in particular, it's everybody. It's from compliance to our business office to our external staff to our fundraisers. We have every other week meetings regarding this, so it is definitely, like you said, it's a staff effort. Our coaches are involved, so we're learning as we go and having a lot of exciting times and progress.
This is kind of the kickoff to football seasons around the corner. The guys start practicing next week. What's your excitement level like for football season?
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to believe it's right around the corner. It's been a long time, but this summer, it's been about planning and making sure that we're getting the resources needed to be supportive of Jeff and the team. But whenever they're out there, and it feels like we never have a break, right? These guys are practicing all through the summer. They get a little bit of break, but they're back. But we see them in the building. We're seeing them practice. But for it to be almost, what are we, less than 40 days away? I think our community, I just attended an event with Section 110 season ticket holders who did kind of this pre-football event, and they're excited about it. So you're just starting to feel it in the city that football is back, and we're ready for the Roadrunners to kick it off.
You've been to this event several years. You got a shout out from the commissioner this morning. Why is it important for you to be here?
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I serve as the American Athletic Rep on the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, so I'm interacting with these football coaches on a more than monthly basis, making sure that their voices is being heard through the NCAA committee. And then just to support Jeff and the student athletes. And, this is the kickoff. This is the exciting time, and to be able to be here, like I said, support those guys is really important to me.
How are things going with the athletic department overall? Just kind of 10,000-foot view. You guys have grown a lot with the budget and revenue sharing. I know there's growing pains associated with that. Like, what's the kind of short-term and long-term goal for the program?
Yeah, well, the overall, I mean, it continues to have momentum. I know people keep hearing me say it's just like we are on this incredible trajectory as an institution, but also as an athletics department. And the key is how do we keep that momentum going? And our city continues to step up and help us with the resources that we need. We got to really invest in football, which we've done. We're really excited about what Coach Traylor is going to do this season. But again, our focus continues to be facilities. It continues to be the rev generation, and then the retention and recruitment of our coaches, our staff, and our student athletes.
What's the next level? Pat mentioned for baseball that during his contract renegotiation, his rev share number went up. Jeff is always talking about trying to get more. Where do you guys want to be maybe this time next year in comparison to where you're at this year?
Yeah, so when we did those rev share numbers, it was around Christmas time that we started getting data about what the league was doing or what we thought the league was going to do. So we were really putting numbers in front of our coaches based on the data we were given. As Karen and Austin and Pat and Jeff were on the recruiting trail, it became clear that those numbers might not be exactly accurate. So we had to continue to invest in those numbers, and we suspect that those numbers are just going to continue to go up. So Jeff said it earlier. I think it's going to take another year for us to really understand. But a lot of credit to our coaches who are boots on the ground, understanding it, hearing it, and being able to feed us information. Tim did a study to help gather that information. So we're going to keep getting these data points to understand. And our goal is always to be competitive. We have to be competitive within our league.
For the kind of main revenue sports, the four sports you spoke about, you have your coaches kind of locked up long term there. Was that a goal of yours, and how important is that to keep kind of the group together? You're trying to make this thing work.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, all of us recognize to have Pat and Jeff and Karen, and then obviously Austin is new, but they are incredible humans, number one, and incredible coaches. And UTSA, we should just be so humbled and proud to have them as leading our program. So as long as if we can keep them long term, that's definitely the goal. And they're so committed to UTSA, so it's really important. Those are the sports we continue to invest in. So we need some longevity and some tradition there with those coaches.
How are the facilities? What's the outlook, the short-term outlook for the next? You obviously broke ground. You have right next to your office something going on. How's that going? When's that scheduled to be completed? And then what's on the horizon?
Yeah, unlike the race facility when we were in COVID, living in our working out of our homes, we didn't get to see the building go up every day like we are now, and so it's really exciting. I think for our student athletes, our coaches, our staff to see it's like this is real, it's happening. So that's every day when we come into the office, it's really fun to see that facility, and it feels like it's going up really quickly. And we should again be open by next fall. And then of course baseball and softball are our next target facilities with player development. It's no secret that there's a lot of investment that needs to be made in those facilities, but we're going to start with what matters to the players and start moving in that direction.
There was no football preseason media poll, but it seems like a lot of people have high expectations of the Roadrunners this year. How do you think UTSA football is going to do?
Yeah, you know what? I say this time and time. I will always put my money on Jeff Traylor, and he will always position our team to be competitive, to be winning championships, and I have no doubt him and his staff are going to continue to do that.
All right, Lisa, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.